Hi guys, Scott KI5 USA. I'm in League City, Texas, and today is December the 10th, 2020. And I've been making some videos about hotspots and what a hotspot is and how you use a hotspot. And there's different types of radios. There's DMR radios, there's D-Star radios, there's System Fusion, Yaesu radios, Wires X. You'll hear a lot of different terms, and it's basically what type of radio you have. Now on my screen here on the right hand side, these are my Yaesu System Fusion or Wires X radios, and this one over here on the left hand side is my DMR Anytone radio. And so those are two different types of digital radios. Now these radios are digital radios, but they also can be used analog and talk to local repeaters and local hams on non-digital channels. Well, we're going to talk about digital today, and we're going to talk about Wires X because I started getting into Wires X, and so I want to kind of show you what the Wires X system is and how to use it. Now my FTM-400 is connected to my computer with a USB cable and another set of cables. I think it's either an SCU 39 or a 40. I can't remember which set of cables you use for that. It's just basically a cable that plugs into the back of the radio and then plugs into the speaker and microphone jacks of your computer. Once you have that set up and you've made sure that you've updated the firmware in your radio, and this firmware upgrade came out about 8 months ago that allows us not to have another piece of equipment called an HRI 200 to be able to utilize our radio on the Wires X network. The HRI 200 is still a good piece of equipment to have if you want to run your own room, but I'm not running my own room. I just want to get in and talk to different rooms, and so I've got all the equipment now that I need to do that. So let's go on and talk about it just a little bit more. I'm going to start up my Wires X software, and it's already running. When you first start it up, if it's not already running, it takes a little bit because it has to load all the rooms up. So I didn't want you to have to wait, so I went ahead and started up the software so you didn't have to wait for the rooms to load up. But here's all the rooms down here on the bottom. And up here is all the what they call a node or system user that are on the network right now. So mine is what's called a node. I'm running in direct node operation. And if I want to talk to one of these rooms down here, I have to connect to it. So I'm going to turn my radio on. You'll hear it when it comes on, what it sounds like. Let me turn the power button on. And I don't know if you heard the little doo-doo-doo-doo-doop, or sometimes it sounds like the Addams Family. It goes doo-doo-doo-doop. That's when you know that your radio is on. And if you can see my screen on my radio right now, it says that I'm in direct mode. I'm in a Wires X node. And now I'm able to use my radio to talk to any of these rooms. Now, some of these rooms are digital only, and some of them are analog, and some of them are digital and analog. If I didn't have my FTM-400 plugged in directly to my computer using the microphone and the speaker jack, then I wouldn't be able to get into the analog rooms. I'd only be able to get into the digital rooms. And you can tell a digital from an analog right here where it says DIG. That means it's a digital only room. The ones with have a little house, I don't know if you can see that, have a little house. Those are normally digital and analog rooms. And like the Texas Nexus is a digital analog room. But I think it's running in digital mode only. So I'm going to connect. And down here, if you're looking at all these rooms that it has, there's lots of them. It'll tell you how many people are in each room. So right now in the Texas Nexus, there's 52 people in there. So I'm hoping somebody's talking. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I'm going to right click and tell it to connect. And there is people in there talking.
I think it's the room ID number. It's the one I just gave you, and that works for me, but your mileage may vary.
So when people are carrying on a conversation, you'll see that they'll show up in green over there, so that you don't accidentally talk on top of them. I'm going to turn this down so I can talk. But you'll hear the little beep back there. And over here it tells you I'm in the Texas Nexus room. It tells you the last user that talked up here. Over here on this little screen, it tells you a little bit about you're in the Texas Nexus room. Howdy, you're linking Texans and Texas at heart together. You can close these down if you like. You can move these screens around wherever you like to move them. You can hide them if you want to. There's a lot of, I'm not going to go over the whole software, but if you go to Yaesu Fusion or Yaesu's website, their YouTube channel has videos on there that are hours long that tell you every little feature you want to know. So if I want to get out of this room, I have to go in here and I'll disconnect. And now I'm out of the room. And I want to go to another room. I'm going to go to America Link now. And click on it. And it comes right up. There are people in there talking. And one thing about it is the audio is crystal clear on here because you're using a digital signal to both transmit and receive. You're using the internet. I'm not transmitting with my radio at all when I talk on my microphone. It's all going through the internet, so it's all digital. So it's usually pretty clear. Now sometimes you'll hear people that'll sound a little muffled. They may be using an analog radio or an analog room to talk, and sometimes that's a little muffled if they don't have it set up right. Or they may be using a DMR radio that's converting over to what's called Yaesu Fusion and talking into one of these digital rooms. And sometimes their audio can sound a little different. But for the most part, it's pretty clear. I'm going to turn it back up for a second. Let you hear.
Hey, nice to hear you, my friend. Have a great day. And I guess you're operating on a Node and a NL.
So that's how you use WiresX. I'm going to disconnect now. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email at ki5usa.scott with a capital S @gmail.com. 73s, we'll catch you later down the line.